जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्योत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter number 1, entitled Questions by Vidura. We're reading text 35 and 36 today. Text 35 does not have purport, so I'll read it myself. 36 we'll chant together. Api svidanye cha nijatma daiva mananyavruttya samanuvrataye hridika satyatma jacharu deshna gadadaya Swasti charanti saumya. Translation by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. O sober one, others such as Ridik, Charudeshna, Gada, and the son of Satyabhama, who accept Lord Shri Krishna as the soul of the self, and thus follow his path without deviation, are they well? Text 36. Please repeat. Api swadorbhyam vijayachutabhyam dharmena dharmaha paripati setum duryodhano atapyata Yat sabhayam samrajya lakshmya vijayanurutya api swadorbhya vijayachutabhyam dharmena dharmaha paripati setum duryodhano tapyat yat sabhayam Samrajya Lakshmya Vijayanurutya Api Swadhorbhya Vijayachutabhyam Dharmena Dharmaha Paripati Setum दुर्योधनो तप्यत यत्सभायां साम्राज्य लक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या अपि स्वदोर्भ्या विजयाच्युताभ्याम् धर्मेण धर्मः परिपाति सेतुम् दुर्योधनोत्तप्यत यत्सभायाम् साम्राज्य लक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या. Please chant. अपि स्वदोर्भ्यां विजयाच्युताभ्याम् धर्मेण धर्मात् परिस्वाति सेतुम् दुर्योधनो तप्यत यत्सभायाम् दुर्योधन तप्यत यत्सभायाम् साम्राज्य लक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या स्वदोर्भ्यां विजयाच्युताभ्याम् धर्मेण धर्मः परिपाति सेतुम् दुर्योधनो तप्यत यत्सभायाम् साम्राज्य लक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या. वैष्णवी. अपि स्वदोर्भ्यां विजयाच्युताभ्याम् धर्मेण धर्मः परिपाति सेतुम् दुर्योधन तप्यत यत्सभाया साम्राज्य लक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या. अपि स्वदोर्भ्यां विजयाच्युताभ्याम् धर्मेण धर्मः परिपाति सेतुम् दुर्योधन तप्यत यत्सभायाम् साम्राज्य लक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या. अपि as also swadorбhyam own arms Vijaya Arjuna Achyutabhyam along with Sri Krishna dharmena on religious principles dharma King Yudhishthir paripati maintains setum the respect of religion. Duryodhan atapyata envied yad whose sabhayam royal assembly samrajya imperial lakshmya opulence Vijay Anuvritya by the service of Arjuna. The translation and purport by Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The translation. Also let me inquire whether Maharaj Yudhishthir is now maintaining the kingdom according to religious principles and with respect for the path of religion. Formerly, Duryodhan was burning with envy because Yudhishthir was being protected by the arms of Krishna and Arjuna as if they were his own arms. Purport: Maharaj Yudhishthir was the emblem of religion. When he was ruling his kingdom with the help of Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the opulence of his kingdom surpassed all imaginations of the opulence of the kingdom of heaven. His actual arms were Lord Krishna and Arjuna, and thus he surpassed everyone's opulence. Duryodhan, being envious of this opulence, planned so many schemes to put Yudhishthir into difficulty. And at last the battle of Kurukshetra was brought about. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhishthir was again able to rule his legitimate kingdom. And he reinstated the principles of honor and respect for religion. That is the beauty of a kingdom ruled by a pious king like Maharaj Yudhishthir. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Api Swadorabhyam Vijayachyutabhyam Dharmena Dharma Paripati Setum Duryodhana Tapyata Yat Sabhayam Samrajya Lakshmaya Vinayanu. Also, let me inquire whether Maharaj Yudhishthir is now maintaining the kingdom according to religious principles and with respect for the path of religion. Formerly, Duryodhan was burning with envy because Yudhishthir was being protected by the arms of Krishna and Arjuna as if they were his own arms. So, formerly, here in this particular verse, Vidura is asking what is the current situation because he remembers what happened in the past in the times when Maharaj Yudhishthir was ruling the kingdom of Indraprastha. So what happened is after the incident of Varnavrat, where the Pandavas, they were supposed to be burnt alive in their sleep. That was the plan of Duryodhana, that he wanted to kill the 5 Pandavas and he wanted them to die in that house that he specifically built with flammable substance like lac. So when that plan failed, the Pandavas did not have any desire to go back to Hastinapur because they felt betrayed and they were pious. So they felt, what is the need to go back to Hastinapur where there is no one who wants to protect us? They felt betrayed and they felt hurt. That's why they were staying away. And they were being disguised and they were living like pilgrims. They were wearing very simple clothes. They disguised themselves and living in disguise. And this went on for a long time until the Swayamvar of Draupadi. At the time of Swayamvar of Draupadi, so many different princes, they wanted Draupadi because she was born of fire sacrifice. She was not born of like a normal birth. She was born from the fire of sacrifice. Herself and her brother Indra, Dushtadumna. So you can imagine the beauty of Draupadi. Everyone wanted to marry her, including Duryodhana, Karna, all these different people, all these miscreants. They wanted to marry her so desperately. When she came, everyone was just in awe of her beauty. Everyone tried to fulfill the need, the condition of the Swayamvar, but everyone was failing and everyone was morose. At that time, one Brahmana, he asked, "Can I try?" And he was allowed because Draupadi said, "Yes, you can try." And that Brahmana, he fulfilled the condition of looking in the water that was kept under, and then the condition was to pierce the eye of a rotating fish without looking, rather looking at the reflection of the rotating fish. So such a difficult condition was fulfilled, and that time everyone understood that it has to be Arjuna. Nobody else could have fulfilled that condition in that assembly. So that was the time that everyone came to know that actually Pandavas are alive, because until then everyone thought that they were burnt to ashes at the time of Varnavrat. So when that incident happened, then they were brought to Hastinapur forcibly. Krishna and Bhishma, when they found out that the Pandavas are alive, then they brought to Hastinapur, and then Dhritarashtra was there, Bhishma is there, Vidura is there, and in the assembly of all these great seniors, Dhritarashtra had to agree to divide the kingdom equally amongst his sons, Kauravas, and the sons of Pandu. So that was the time that they decided to give half of the kingdom, not even half, some part of the kingdom to Pandavas to rule. So Dhritarashtra and the company, the Kauravas, were so bad that they chose the worst of the area to be given for the Pandavas. They chose a forest called Khandaprastha, the forest that was completely useless. There was no economical gain possible from that land. The land that was cursed by Indra, the land that was infertile, was completely infested with snakes and demons. Useless land. They said, "Okay, you rule this land and we will rule Hastinapur." That was the already developed land. So that was unfair. But Krishna said, "We'll take it." Because Krishna is Sakshat Bhagwan, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he decided to take this land, and with his mercy, the Pandavas developed the land. They went there, they burnt all the forest with the help of Agnidev, and they also pleased Indra. The land became fertile, the land became very beautiful, and they even got the Vishwakarma, the architect of the heavenly planets. They got the assistant Mayadanav. He was also expert in building different palaces, all type of architecture. And they completely transformed the place that was completely bad, useless land. They turned into a heavenly kingdom. It became so beautiful, and Maharaj Yudhishthir was the ruler. So many of the subjects, so many of the citizens from Hastinapur migrated to Khandaprastha, now called Indraprastha, because they wanted the king as Yudhishthir. So Srila Prabhupada here is mentioning what is the use, what is the importance of having a great leader. Srila Prabhupada mentions that is the beauty of a kingdom ruled by a pious king like Maharaj Yudhishthir. When the king is pious, then all the subjects, they also wanted to be, they were naturally attracted to the piety of the king. In that kingdom, there was so much of prosperity. The land was so fertile. The people were so pious that even the robbers and the so-called people who are supposed to be drug-aged, homeless, and useless people, they also became so infested with so much of enthusiasm to work for the betterment of the country. And because Maharaj Yudhishthir, the king, was a devotee of Krishna, so all the service that the subjects were offering to the king was actually ultimately going to Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the king is a pure devotee of Krishna. Like it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangisangam Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes. When someone serves a great person, automatically the doors of liberation open for that person. And if someone wants to open the doors for hell, it's very easy. Just associate those who are interested, who are so much interested in sense gratification, especially people who are attached to sex desire. The people who are attached to women, if you associate with them, then the gates of ignorance, the hellish planets, automatically open for you. So in this particular land, because Yudhishthir, the king, is very pious, he is a pure devotee of Krishna, he is representative of Krishna, all the subjects, every citizen was getting the benediction of serving Supreme Personality of Godhead through the means of serving the king. That's why the land prospered so much. Now, it happened so much that the treasury of Maharaj Yudhishthir was filled to an extent that there was no space to keep wealth. It happened that for the next 100 years, they could have sustained with the excess of the wealth that was produced, that was in the treasury. So all the ministers came to Maharaj Yudhishthir and said that we have so much opulence now that it is a good time to perform a huge sacrifice called Rajasuya Yagya. But Maharaj Yudhishthir did not become very happy and like, wow, that's such a great opportunity. That means I will be called the Chakravarti Samrat, the monarch, the king of all the kings. I can become the king of the entire world. Maharaj Yudhishthir was equipoised. He said, let me first consult with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was his equipoised nature. He was not very keen to gain any personal post, or he did not have any aspiration that I want to become the king of the world, I want to expand my kingdom, I want to be bigger and bigger. Rather, he was a humble servant of Krishna. So he consulted with Krishna, and Krishna said, that's the beautiful proposal, because Yudhishthir was constantly and always backed up by Krishna, because he was dharma personified. And that was the desire of Lord Krishna, that Yudhishthir should become the king of the world. So it was decided that we'll perform Rajasuya Yajna in the Indraprastha. So all the kings were summoned for this big sacrifice. They invited, you can imagine, they invited Lord Shiva. They invited Lord Brahma. They invited Ganesha. They invited Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Agni. All the demigods were sitting, and all of them came just to see the beauty of the kingdom of Indraprastha. So that kingdom must be so beautiful that even the heavenly demigods were so keen to see that kingdom. Like, we just want to see what you guys have built, what kind of architecture. When all of them came, different departments, because so many people were invited, all the earthly kings were invited. That means Duryodhan and party was also invited. And nobody had seen Duryodhan and all his brothers, the miscreants. They have been thinking that these Pandavas must be struggling so hard. They must be dealing with all the snakes, demons. They're done for their life now. We don't have to think about them anymore. When they came, Duryodhan saw the beauty. He first had to check in the GPS That is it the right address? Am I at the right place, or am I by mistaken? I have come some heavenly planet. So all the great rishis were sitting there. Vyasadev, Dhaumya, Bharadwaj, like all the great stalwarts were sitting. And when Duryodhana is seeing all that opulence of who? Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir, that he envied since childhood. He just wanted to get Yudhishthir. He just wanted to somehow suppress him, kill him. He had so much of envy towards Yudhishthir. And now that Yudhishthir is sitting on the throne, he is going to be bathed by the great demigods. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma is sitting there. And all the great sages are just looking at him and they are supporting him. He was so much envious. He was burning with envy. That's what the verse says. Duryodhana tapyadiyat sabhayam. That in that assembly, Duryodhana was burning. Tapyata. He was burning in the fire of envy. There, as we know, the Rajasuya Yagya was performed, and then Yudhishthir was bathed in the presence of all the great personalities. And everyone was so happy, the opulence. You can imagine the people who came from outside, the Indraprastha, the accommodation for those, just like a guest room. When we go to some place, we're given a guest room. They were given a guest palace. Every person had a palace to just live for the time being. That was the opulence. And when Duryodhana saw that the great queens of all these demigods, they were parked in the skies, their respective carriers, and he saw that they are throwing the flowers, petals on Yudhishthir. What is going on? He couldn't process it. That this person is getting such a treatment that is looks like even superior to all the demigods that he worships. So that's why he was so much envious. After the Rajasuya Yagya, what happened is all the demigods and everyone was sitting in that assembly. It was the imperial court of Yudhishthir Maharaj that was built personally by Mayadano, the Maya demon, who is very expert in the architecture. He built it in such a way that it was made up of all crystals. And the crystals were such arranged that sometimes the land would look like water. The water would look like land. And sometimes you would think that, oh, this is a closed door. But actually it was an open door. Sometimes if you are walking, you may think it's an open door, but it's a closed door. So it was all filled with illusions. And if you do not have the intelligence, and if you do not know the tricks, how it is designed, then you are going to be in trouble. So in that assembly, when Krishna killed Shishupal, that episode happened. First, Krishna was the first one elected to be given the Agra Puja, that the first person to be worshipped. Everyone elected that, oh, it should be Krishna. Bhishma Dev said that he should be elected because he is the oldest amongst us. Yet, he is ever fresh, ever youthful. He is unborn, and he is the only person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is eligible for that honor of Agra Puja. After that, Shishupal was killed, as we know. And this Duryodhana and company, they are literally looking everywhere that what kind of palace is this? The imperial court of the courthouse of Yudhishthir Maharaj, where he was sitting on a big throne. All his brothers were sitting next to him. Krishna was sitting next to him. While looking, Duryodhana was walking and he saw that looks like there is some water on the floor. So he lifted his royal clothes, like he lifted his dhoti and he started walking. But it was actually land. And everyone is looking what's happening to this joker. What is he doing? And some people started laughing. Like slowly they tried to laugh. And then everyone's attention was on Duryodhana. What is he doing? And then they walked further and they saw that, oh, there is a nice pond of lotuses. They saw the lotuses and looks like a nice pond. So again, they were walking with the dhotis up and everyone is laughing that, oh, it's just a land. And then when they went further, it looked like a land. Finally, they thought, oh, we have finally come to the land. So they let their clothes back to the normal and they started walking normal, but they fell in the water. And then everyone started laughing. It looked very humorous. All the queens of Krishna, all the other queens, all the people in the assembly, they were laughing. Especially Bhima laughed the loudest. He laughed like a mountain was laughing. And that really hurt Duryodhana. When Duryodhana got up, he was so angry that he was shaking in anger. And he started walking. I just want to leave this place. He saw an open door, so he immediately wanted to just walk out. So he walked so fast, and he thought that's an open door, but it was a wall. And he hit the wall. And then his head was reeling, and his vision was blurred. Some birds were chirping on his head. And he's thinking, where am I? What is going on? What is the way out? So he somehow, with the help of Karna and all other who were little expert, little more intelligent, somehow he got out. And he felt so insulted. That's why the verse says, Duryodhana tapyata yat sabhayam. That time when everyone was laughing, Draupadi was also laughing, but she was laughing or smiling like a woman. And usually women don't laugh like very loud. Very loud laughter is many times, the demons, whenever demons appear, they come laughing. Even there is an incident when, after the Varnavrat, when the Pandavas were walking, they came across Hidimbi. And, Hidimbi's brother Hidimba, who was a man-eater demon who was killed by Bhima. After that, Hidimbi fell in love with Bhima. And that time, they were having jokes. And that time, Bhima cracked a joke. And Hidimbi started laughing so loud. And then Bhima said, hey, wait. Don't laugh like this. My mother is right here. My brothers are right here. If you laugh like this, they will think that I have gone crazy to marry such a woman. Just be decent. So in that sabha, in the Indraprastha, Draupadi was laughing bashfully. But Krishna, he saw that Draupadi is trying to suppress her laughter. Krishna said, no, don't laugh like that. Laugh freely. And then she laughed freely, and Duryodhana saw that. And that also hurt him so much. They said that the laughter of Draupadi hurt him the most because it hurt his ego. So that's why this verse says, Duryodhana tapyate yat sabhayam. So he left with anger. So in that particular context, it is also said, especially this all comes in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata, in the 7th chapter. It says that Vyasadeva himself writes that why Krishna told Draupadi to laugh loud. There is no need for Krishna to instigate. But it appears that Krishna created, by his illusory potency, he made Duryodhana behave in such a way. He made a joke of Duryodhana. He somehow illusioned Duryodhana with his illusory energy. And he also told Draupadi and all the Pandavas to laugh because Krishna had a plan. Krishna's plan was, he wanted somehow that the fight between the Pandavas and Kauravas to happen. Because in that fashion, Krishna would have just killed all the demoniac kings on the earth. He could have just easily gathered them in one place Krishna doesn't have to chase each and every demonic king and kill him. Rather, Krishna thought it's very, very good and apt that I just call everyone together and I can get rid of all of them. And in that fashion, I can fulfill one of the important purposes of my descent. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna comes to annihilate the miscreants. So that was Krishna's plan. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9 ends on this verse. Prithvya vai guru bharam kshapayan kurunam. On the earth, on the surface of earth, the earth was burdened with the miscreant kings. Especially the kings were sinners and miscreants. And because of the king itself is miscreant, all the other citizens also were miscreants. And the earth was burdened with such sinful people. That's why Krishna had this plan. Antah samutha kalina yudhi bhupachamva. So what Krishna did, Antah samutha kalina. Krishna created the misunderstanding between Kauravas and Pandavas so that he can gather all the demonic kings together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Drushtya vidhuya vijaye jayamudvighosya prochodhavaya cha param samagat swadhama. So this is very important verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna gathered all these demonic kings together in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And with his eyes, he destroyed all the demonic kings. So here, Antah samutha kalina, Krishna created this misunderstanding. In the city called Mumbai in India, which is like the financial capital, in the 90s, there were so many criminals. There was so much gang war happening, so many rapes, so many murders, so much of chaos in the city. And in 1993, there were bomb blasts and a lot of people killed in India. So that time the police department decided that we have to get rid of all these criminals. But they didn't want to chase each and every one because how many years that would take to chase and find, track down one criminal, get rid of him, then second one, third one. Instead, what they decided was very smart. They called a party. They pretended that they pretended to be the Godfather, and they sent invitation to all the other criminals that, okay, we are celebrating the victory, we are celebrating and I'm throwing a party, everyone is invited. They called all the big shots, the criminals of different gangs, the heads of different gangs. They called them all together, and all of them also thought that we must go. If I don't show up, this Godfather, this Don is going to think that I am inimical to him. So that's why everyone also thought, okay, we must abide, we must go to that party. Also, they sent the invitation to the Don from the association. So they conspired this, the Mumbai police conspired, they called all the criminals together, and there was a huge encounter. And so many demoniac criminals were killed in that. And after that, for years, that city has been peaceful like never before. So sometimes it is important, especially for the Kshatriya clan, for the police department to take some strong actions against criminals. So when Krishna is taking such action, it is ultimately for the benefit of the whole world. So Antah samutha kalina, Krishna creating the misunderstanding between Pandavas and Kauravas can be seen in two different ways. Did Krishna create the misunderstanding between the brothers? Answer is yes and no. Yes, because Bhagavatam says so. Yes, because Krishna, yes, he made Draupadi laugh. He also somehow created and became the mastermind, and he was also the brain of Pandavas in the Kurukshetra. And we can also say that Antah samutha kalina, Krishna created the misunderstanding between brothers. Answer, no. He never created that. Why? Because Duryodhana and company, they are born criminals. They were born. From the birth, you see their activities. It's not that Krishna made them like that. Since birth, they were envious of Pandavas. When they were kids going to the school of Dronacharya, Duryodhana poisoned Bhima. So since that time, they were envious. Since that time, this has been happening. But Krishna, he, with the help of Pandavas, he established dharma on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And in that fashion, he brought peace on earth. And that's how the religiosity was restored. And Maharaj Yudhishthir was again made the king of the entire world. And then he ruled for the best interest of everyone. And that's how earth flourished. That's how Krishna was so pleased. And that's how the religious principles also flourished. So that was Krishna's plan of Dharma Samsthapan. Srila Prabhupada always talked about this, and Srila Prabhupada would connect this with our present movement of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada would say that just like at that time, Krishna's purpose at that time was to establish religiosity through Kshatriya clan. Krishna wanted to kill the demonic kings, and he wanted to establish principles and make Yudhishthir the pious Dharma personified as the king. The same way, our times, our hero is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are in the army of not Lord Shri Krishna, we are in the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Prabhupada would say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is our hero and we should follow his footsteps. But the aim is the same. What Krishna wanted is the same what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. And that's the same thing what Srila Prabhupada also wants. To establish dharma, to establish the religious principles in the world, to propagate Krishna consciousness so that each and every person living on this planet and everywhere else can become completely happy within and without. So that's the main aim of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. To preach the message of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fearlessly to each and every person in each and every town and village, to everyone, so that everyone can be happily situated in the service of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody has comments, any questions? Okay, Maharaj, yes. If you have...
Thank you very much for a very enlivening, very satisfying, and very descriptive class of Mahabharata. Very nice. There was this one little point I thought you might have jumped over, and if you would like to tell it, please do. And that is when, as you mentioned, there was the marriage of Draupadi, at least the foreshadowing of it. And as you mentioned also, there was a wheel which was wheeling around the upper part, and then there was an apple on that wheel, and it was reflecting in a pool of water. So very few of the warriors could actually look at the pool of water and shoot the apple off the whirling wheel. None can do it except two. The one, of course, was Arjuna, as you nicely mentioned, and the other one was who?
Karna?
Karna, yes. So Karna was there, and so there was no problem for Arjuna to shoot it. But what? Oh, okay. I made a mistake. So there was no problem for him. But Karna was on Duryodhana's side. He sided with the demons, even though technically, historically, he was a Kshatriya who was born from Kunti and then transferred, and he never even knew his real birth site until later on when Kunti came and said, "You're my son." He says, "I'm your son?" He couldn't believe it because he was raised by some Sutas, which is another caste. It's considered a lower caste. So Draupadi, when she saw Karna come onto the stage to compete for her hand, and he could do it, and she knew he could do it, and she said, "I will never marry a Suta." And she was a Kshatriya. But so it inherently was Karna. He was all, but nobody knew he was a Kshatriya. So she rejected him. He was a good-looking man, by the way. A real Kshatriya. And he was as good as Arjuna. The only thing he was not as good as is he didn't have the grace of Krishna. So even though technically they were just as good as one another, spiritually they were not. And that's because Arjuna was the friend of Krishna, and Karna was not really the friend because he befriended Duryodhana, who was an enemy of Krishna, who hated Krishna, who even did some dirty work when Krishna came to negotiate a settlement between the two. So my main point is this. It's because Draupadi rejected Karna, who was on Duryodhana's side. Duryodhana not only was upset and disturbed by the fact that there was laughter when his feet went into the water that you told about, and when he went on the land and he was picking up his dhoti and all of, so that was very embarrassing, very upsetting to a Kshatriya who prides himself on his great prowess, on his great ability, on his great heroicism, and here everybody's laughing at him. So he was, like you mentioned so nicely, he couldn't handle that. But then the next thing was when Karna was rejected by Draupadi, and Karna and Duryodhana were like friends. And so what happened was there is that Karna became so angry at Draupadi. He just wanted to tear her apart, and he almost did. Because in that assembly, and there was an assembly in which Draupadi, she was not present in that assembly of all men and heroes and like that. So what happened was there was a dice game, as you know. And in the dice game, Yudhishthir lost. And he lost his entire kingdom. He also gambled his wife away, who was Draupadi. So in gambling her away, he ordered one of his, I think it was Dusasan, to go and bring Draupadi from the inner apartments. By the way, that was a time when she was having her period too. So he could bring her there, and what the idea was is they would strip her down naked in an assembly of men and embarrass her. Just as Karna felt embarrassed by Draupadi saying, "I will never marry a Suta," etc. And actually, he was quite qualified, though. So what happened was that they commenced the stripping down of Draupadi. And Dusasan started taking off her sari. However, her husband had been won in the gambling match, and they could not help her, since they were now controlled. They had been lost. They were like slaves to Duryodhana. It was unfair, too. So what happened? So what happened was Draupadi being alone. She just looked up, put her palms together, and said, "My dear Krishna," for she was a devotee of Krishna, "My dear Krishna, my husbands cannot help me. 5 incredibly strong, powerful, gifted men. Look at them. They're all sitting there as if they were like sheep. And my honor is being dishonored. They're taking my clothes off, especially at a time when it is my period. And this is very unfair and very wrong. So please, I beg you, please save me." So what happened was that as Dusasan was pulling the sari, it was getting longer and longer and longer. And Dusasan was sweating it up like bullets coming out of his head. He couldn't figure out how was the sari getting bigger, and she should have been naked by now. So therefore, he realized, I mean, there's piles of cloth all over the place, and he realized that a miracle had taken place. And when the devotee is very dependent upon Krishna, as Krishna says so nicely in the Bhagavad Gita, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they may come to me. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. And here we see Draupadi showing that she was not ignorant. She knew exactly how she could be protected. And actually, in the ultimate analysis, only Krishna can protect us. So Krishna protected her, and she just walked away, and Dushyasan was ashamed, and Karna was upset because he wanted to get vengeance on Draupadi for not accepting him as her possible husband. And therefore, although the Pandavas lost, apparently, they actually won that. And not only that, but at that same time, Draupadi demanded, she said, I want my husbands back. Because, what's his name? Dhritarashtra, he said, what would you like? I know we have offended you, we have upset you, we made you ashamed. What would you like as a blessing? I want all my husbands back who had been falsely and wrongly won. So, of course, they did come back, but then there was another thing, I won't go into that, in which they were again won, and therefore the Pandavas and Draupadi, they all had to, for 12 years, if I'm not mistaken, 12 years, they had to leave and be disguised, live in the forest, and so many horrible, terrible things, which sets a very wonderful example for all of us as devotees of Krishna. Sometimes I hear devotees of Krishna and they say, you know, why is he giving me all this difficulty? Why is he giving me these trials? Why is he giving me these tribulations? I'm a good devotee. I come to all the programs, etc. And I chant all my rounds. I observe the 4 regular programs. Why are you giving me so many problems? Like maybe he has a COVID, or maybe he has some other illness or difficulty. So all this shows us the Pandavas are set there to let us know that even if you do everything right, Krishna sometimes gives us the opportunity to be an example, to be an example of how we should act. Even though Krishna hurts us, he harms us, he beats us, he has us nonetheless, the devotee who simply says, my dear Lord, I know I am very unworthy, I don't deserve your mercy. I don't deserve your favor. And whatever you're giving me is less than what you really should give me. That is a devotee who completely succumbs to, yields to, and thanks Krishna for his difficulties. That's it.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Aditya Gaur Preman.